Hello YouTube world, Mac Daddy 1911A1 here with the Shade Tree Survivalists. Ladies and gentlemen, I am always talking about how we should all strive to use our noodle, our brain. We should think. But it's not just simply thinking. Educating ourselves on our weapons systems in order that we understand, number one, how they function. What each and every single part in the weapon is. Not only what it is, but what its function is, and just as importantly, how it functions with all the other parts associated with the total package in order to make the firearm work correctly. Today, what I have before you is the reference library on my two primary fighting systems. The 1911 handgun, more appropriately called the M1911, model of 1911, as well as the M14. Those are my systems. Those systems I trust absolutely 110% down the line, regardless of what anybody says, because I know. I know because I've shot each of them. I've had both of them for nearly 20 years, ladies and gentlemen. Simple as that. The few malfunctions that I have had have been caused by myself. Period. Okay? They're excellent systems if you maintain them and understand their shortcomings and how to go around, overcome, or adjust, or tune them so they don't have those problems. That's what you have laying before you. Grand total, I think I paid maybe $25 a piece. So you're looking about $100 here. If they have went up to say $30 a piece, $120. That's what you're looking at in order to be able to understand your system. AR-15, guys. Can you read that? Let's zoom in. The author and the publisher of these books also have the AR-15 Complete Owner's Guide, as well as the AR-15 Complete Assembly Guide, and there is a new version of this one out where they build several different weapons from scratch to show you all the differences they have. I mean, it's just chock full of information, and for the price, you just are not going to beat it. I do believe they also have books on the FAL, but it doesn't matter. I know there's books on the AK-47 system, the AK system as a whole. I know there's books on AR-15s other than these. I know there are books on other handguns, such as the Glock. I know you can buy parts. All right. Understanding how the system works, being able to diagnose these problems. These books here are to diagnose the problems. These books here also diagnose problems and give you remedies. Of course, these do too also, but these give you remedies. These also teach you how to build your own weapon from parts, which is a whole lot more expensive, but hey, what the hell? Your reference sources. But this is not the only kind we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Let me grab another few. All right, ladies and gentlemen, talking about reference books. Let's talk about automotive reference books, shall we? I'm not going to buy a new vehicle. I am cheap. I don't need the headaches of the newer vehicles. So I tend to stick with older model vehicles that have electronics and crap on them, but they're not nearly as bad as all the new garbage that's on the market you could not give me. Vehicles I have had or want, in this case an old diesel Ford F-150 or F-250 is actually what I'm after, but I don't know if I'll ever get it. And then our Buick, okay? Whenever I work on a vehicle, I want a manual nearby that will help me diagnose problems and help me solve them. Now, I'll tell you right now, these are very helpful, but I found a really huge resource right here on YouTube of how-to books, or how-to videos, not books, but how-to videos to help. And they're a lot clearer. You can watch and see, but there's nothing like having it written down while you're under the damn vehicle and the starter just will not go in there, or it's making a noise that it shouldn't be making after you've installed it, and you didn't do the test, the check, like they illustrated, to shim the damn thing in there correctly. All right, these are a wealth of knowledge. Before I do electrical work, I get my reference book out. Before I do plumbing work, I get a reference book out. Before I build something, if there's any way possible, I look up a reference book. But these here are not nearly as comprehensive in their knowledge as these books right here. These tell you what to do, but as importantly, if not more importantly, they tell you what not to do. They're called pitfalls. And they warn you ahead of time, if you do this, or if you do not do this, this will happen and it will not be good, and more than likely it will cost you a lot of damn money. So I'm not showing these books to say, okay, the 1911 is the greatest thing in the world, which I do believe it is. What I'm saying is, if you own a Glock, buy books on a Glock. Buy the simple tools to maintain it. Buy some spare parts for it. They will give you a comprehensive list of the different things, especially on a Glock. The weak link in most of them is the extractor just wearing out over time. They're a great gun, low maintenance. They're the Honda or the Toyota of guns, as where the 1911 is more like a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. All right, they're more intense on the maintenance. They're a hell of a lot. They cost a hell of a lot more up front, but they're not. It's not rocket science, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of it is not rocket science, and they can tell you how to buy replacement parts and how to tune that part so when it is installed, your gun will run and function absolutely flawless. And another thing is you got a reference here, so when you go into to field strip the gun and or completely totally disassemble the frame with all those intricate little parts right in here, you sear, you disconnect, you hammer, and all these different parts, you not only don't damage them taking them out, you put them back in correctly without damaging them. If I'd have had these two books, when I disassembled the stainless steel, when I wouldn't have broke that damn disconnect that I did the video on, okay? Which it wasn't too expensive a part, but at the time, I wasn't making any money. I was broke as hell, so really it was an expensive part, and I think I'm getting a text.
New message is received from Joselle.
Yep, that's Uncle Fester. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Buy the reference materials. Keep the reference materials. EMP will not knock these out, okay? An EMP will not knock these out. House fire, yeah. EMP will not hurt these. So if the power goes out tomorrow, whatever the case may be, something happens with your handgun, or you need to do some serious internal once a year maintenance on the frame, you've got the books right there to do it with. Same thing with electrical work, plumbing work, automotive work, bricklaying, carpentry, gardening, anything you can think of. Someone somewhere has written a book. Edible wildlife, or edible plants in the wild, poisonous plants in the wild to stay the hell away from. Reference books, reference tools, okay? These, if you have an M14 M1A system, you have a 1911 A1 or a 1911 or a clone. Absolutely worth every penny for a lousy $100 or a little bit more. Okay, worth every penny. You can get them on eBay. You can get them on Amazon. You can go directly to the printer. Let me see, where is it? The publisher's name. It is Scott Duff Publications, I believe. Yep, Scott A. Duff Publications, right there. If the damn camera will focus. Of course, you know how it is when you want it to focus on something, it does not. But that's the address and so forth. They got a website, y'all. Come on, 10-4, www.scott/duff.com. Check it out. Mac Daddy 1911A1 with the Shade Tree Survivalist signing off. Thank you very much for watching, everybody.